Doge and OMB also found that there was about to be 50 million taxpayer dollars that went out the door to fund condoms in Gaza. That is a preposterous waste of taxpayer money.
Oh my God, that is preposterous. You know why? Because that's not happening, obviously. And normally what we would do is we'd hear something crazy like that. And then we or someone at like a serious newspaper or something would dig into it. And they'd find like something that like if you are absolutely insane, you could twist into being that. No, there's literally nothing behind this. It's just made up. I mean, I don't know if she individually made it up or if some other idiot made it up and then handed her a piece of paper and then she just said it without checking. But it's one of those things. According to a comprehensive report issued in September by the US Agency for International Development, not a single penny of the $60.8 million in contraceptive and condom shipments funded by the US in the past year went to Gaza. In fact, no condoms were sent to any part of the Middle East just to get out ahead of them freaking out about Egyptians having lamb's skin or whatever. And by the way, for the financial year 2023, this is the most recent for which data is available, only about $7 million worth of condoms were distributed globally. And the vast majority, 89%, were spent on programs in Africa. Now, unfortunately, so the bad news is that's now what they're gonna complain about, that we're giving Africa condoms or whatever. But no, not at all. The good news is that this is an absolute lie. I don't see why it would be an issue if we were providing something super important like that, particularly in a place where they don't have many hospitals. Seems like maybe for some people that might be helpful, but just in case they're freaking out about it, it's not at all true. And to add an extra layer of ridiculousness to it, in 2019, $40 million was spent on contraceptives. And I just want to remind everyone, Donald Trump was president at that point. And I don't remember Jesse Waters doing a lot of segments about it, but what he did do was a segment about what you saw from Karoline Leavitt. And I really would like to say, as a person who hosts a show, I'd love to know what the production process was like for that segment, because she just made it up and they clearly didn't fact check it for even a nanosecond, because if they did, they'd see that there was literally nothing to it. So what exactly is that? Do they just like giggle at each other about the fact that they get paid millions of dollars to openly tell insane lies? I guess that sounds fun if you don't care about having a soul. But anyway, Sharon, it's ridiculous. It's also not true. And I'm sure literally millions of Americans believe it right now.
Well, I'm looking at Fox News and the New York Post. So if they're looking at that, yes, they believe it. There's even pictures of blown up condoms used as balloons to float explosive devices here and there. So it depends on where you consume your news. But I didn't hear loud outbursts when she said that in the press briefing room. And I understand the White House, they're supposed to, have a certain, comport themselves and be above it all and then ask their questions when called upon. But it's so silly that I would think there would be something audible that we would hear in the background from the press corps. None of it. So we'll just go with the condom thing, $50 million worth of them.
It's just so utterly ridiculous. And again, like I just think Karoline Leavitt's really young. She's 27. So that means like when Donald Trump was first elected, she was like 18, 19, she was in college. Like if you'd asked her right then, like, hey, do you imagine that your future lies in like being a tool of propaganda for a fascist regime? I imagine she would have said, well, no, clearly that's not what my life will be. But they have no trouble staffing this administration. It really sucks. I had to talk with my mom this morning about it. Like having one person like Donald Trump be this willfully dishonest and cruel and all that, like you can understand that. The fact that there are so many of them that don't give a damn about anyone and certainly don't give a damn about the truth, that is more distressing. When you click the join button and become a tier 2 member, you get access to all of our weekly top 10 lists. What are you waiting for?